Your child can play video games for 4 hours straight. They know every move, every character, every level, every strategy, every code. But when it's time to do homework, they can't focus for 5 minutes. So what's going on? Are they being lazy? Are they choosing not to pay attention? Or is something else happening? Because the answer might completely change how you understand ADHD. I'm Ken from Jedi Learning, and today we're here to break down one of the biggest misconceptions about ADHD. And that is, if they can focus on video games, then they can focus on anything. But the truth is, that's not actually how attention works. Most people think people with ADHD can't pay attention, but that's not completely accurate. People with ADHD don't always have an attention deficit. Sometimes it's an attention regulation issue, which means that sometimes I pay a little bit too much attention here, but I don't pay enough attention over here. So very, very inconsistent. And that explains why some people can focus intently on some things like video games or other hobbies, but can't even pay attention for a few minutes on something like homework or their chores. So think about what video games provide. Constant rewards, a clear goal, variable reinforcement, a clear direction. Sometimes you even get progress bars to let you know that you're going the right way. So all of those things are letting you know you're making progress, keep going. Basically, video games are designed to keep attention. Homework isn't. Doing your chores isn't. Waiting your turn in line is not. So the brain experiences these two different activities in very different ways. So let's talk about dopamine for a second. Dopamine is often called the brain's reward or motivation chemical. So people hear that and often think, so my child is addicted to games. And that's not exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking more about motivation. See, when you have games that produce those constant rewards, they produce that clear direction, and they produce everything that lets you know what's coming up and showing you that progress is coming, it floods the brain with dopamine. But homework isn't the same way. Like I said, doing your chores doesn't work the same way because those reinforcements come way later. So doing your chores, it shows you how to do delayed gratification. If I sweep my house now, when people come over later, they don't think that I'm dirty. If I do more homework now, later on, I'll be able to pass those tests, get a job, have a successful career, and have a beautiful family. It is really, really hard to break that down to somebody who has ADHD. But once again, when you have the video games who's telling you, yeah, you did that good. Okay, keep going. And it's nonstop reinforcement. It's a totally different situation. Now, this is where families get stuck because they see their child playing the video games for hours and they say, see, I told you he could focus. But what's really going on there is that they are already tied into a constant reinforcement loop. And it's not that they can't stay focused. And even the child understands, wow, I can focus, but it's frustrating because I cannot focus on something that doesn't have that immediate reinforcement. So eventually what you see is that it's not necessarily an attention or a focus issue. It's a task initiation. And like I said earlier, that attention regulation issue. I can't get started on something that doesn't provide that immediate reinforcement. I can't focus for long times on something that doesn't provide that immediate reinforcement. But something like video games, going out with my friends, playing my favorite game outside, constantly getting feedback, constantly getting things that are good and letting me know I'm on the right track. So the key is to try to flip that script and to teach how to delay that gratification so you can access those later rewards and you don't have to always rely on that immediate gratification. So what can parents do? Number one, stop letting people label your child, and you also stop calling your child lazy, unmotivated, inconsistent, because you know they need certain supports in certain areas. Second, you need to make tasks that are important extremely clear. This is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. If you have to use big writing, if you have to use big block paper, anything you can, use highlighters, something that makes what's important stand out. Also, you can teach those organization skills, teach planning, teach how to focus your attention and fight off distractors. And another thing that is really difficult is helping them get started because continuing is easy. Getting started is hard, especially with individuals with ADHD. So teaching them how to get started on a task, or even helping them to get started on a task, can completely change the way they see themselves, the way others see them, and the way that you see them. So just those few strategies can help them to reorganize, and all of those skills can be taught and can be improved with time, with practice, and by staying consistent. So if you're having difficulties teaching these types of skills, there are a number of places where you can go and get little strategies about how do I help them organize? How do I help them to function and to organize their thoughts strategically? How do I help them get started? How do I keep them from giving up on a task that is not immediately reinforcing or that is not really, really easy? So taking that all together and then using that information and using those skills and strategies to help flip the script, like we always talk about, and give them the tools that they need will go much, much further than just giving them a label and starting to say, oh, that's why they're doing that. Oh, that's why they're unmotivated, and that's why they're lazy. Because they're not. They're bright, they're brilliant, but they just need the right strategies and they just need the right support. So if you've ever asked yourself, how come my child can play video games for hours, but they can't sit there and do their homework for 5 minutes? It's not necessarily because they're lazy. And it's definitely not because they don't have the intellectual ability. It's because their brain responds a little bit differently to attention, to rewards, and to focus. So understanding that really gives you a clear idea of how to help them. Because once we stop asking, how come they won't focus, and start asking what helps them focus, then that's where the real progress begins. So if today's video was helpful, make sure you check out this video right here on inattentive type ADHD, because you will be surprised at how many of these symptoms are hiding in plain sight. And if you like the information that we're putting out, make sure you share the information so people can find it. And also make sure that you like and hit that subscription bell, because every time we drop something, you will be the first one to get it. And there's one secret thing that you can do that allows you to continue to access this information in perpetuity, and that is to stay tuned.